Welcome to Financial Confidence for High-Achieving Women, the go-to podcast for women of color entrepreneurs overwhelmed by their finances and ready to transform their money mindset, take control of their money, and build sustainable wealth. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money, certified financial coach and CEO of Money Honey LLC. I believe that abundance is your birthright and that good money management doesn't mean cutting out the joy from your life. Stick around to learn how you can build intentional money habits that align with your biggest lifestyle goals. Let's get into today's episode. Most people talk about overspending, but what about the women who are doing the opposite? The ones who save every dollar, feel guilty buying anything for themselves, and still don't feel safe with money. If that's you, this episode is for you, because hoarding money isn't the same as being responsible. It's fear, it's survival mode dressed up as discipline. Welcome to episode 31 of the Financial Confidence for High-Achieving Women podcast. I'm your host, Taryn, better known as T-Money. Today we're talking about what money hoarding looks like, why it happens, and how to build healthy money habits that let you save and spend without guilt. And I'm sharing two powerful client stories, Yoshi and my namesake, Teryn, who went from holding on to every dollar in fear to spending intentionally, joyfully, and still growing their savings. And if you're listening and thinking, that's me, I save, but never feel safe, this is exactly what we work through in the wealth alignment assessment. We uncover what fear is coming up for you and where it's coming from, and then build a money system where you actually feel secure. The link is in the show notes. So let's get into it. What hoarding money really is it looks like constantly saving but never spending, even on the things you need or love. So there's a bit of resistance there when it comes to the things that you're spending on that you actually need, which could surprise some people. It also looks like anxiety when money leaves your account, even if your bills are paid. So you could be completely covered, but maybe, you're used to paying a little bit extra, or, you're still kind of like there's that underlying worry or fear that you may not have enough the next time. It also looks like telling yourself, I'll enjoy life later when I have more saved. It's always like pushing off the joy or even the feeling of abundance to a later point. And, there's this part about that where like when we keep holding ourselves back from joy, we're actually blocking that abundance, right? And so 42% of Americans feel anxious spending money even when they can afford it. And so this is something that a lot of people deal with. And it's really it's survival mode showing up for you. It's this need for control. So it's not coming from that space that we often categorize for overspending, which is like, oh, there may be some greed there, some impulse, so on and so forth, right? It is the safety that tends to be an overdrive when it comes to hoarding money. It's that need to feel safe and need to control how safe you feel. And, the funny thing, I was talking about control earlier this week, actually. And the funny thing about control, right, is it's really, we like perceive that we're in control, and truthfully, we're not in control of most things that are happening in most situations. And when we can start to connect with what we are truly in control of and learn to release what we're not, then we can start to move forward. So let me tell you about a couple of my clients that have dealt with something similar. So Yoshi's story. So if you are familiar, or if you're like, that name sounds similar to what I've heard before, you can hear her story in a previous episode of the podcast. I'll add that to the show notes. And, for her, she was really saving from fear and not necessarily freedom. So she was a high earner, but still terrified to spend. So she was holding on to money tightly. She had her savings on lock. Okay. She was always saving regularly. One thing was that she wouldn't necessarily feel good about about booking the vacations, upgrading anything, or spending money on herself. And there was this belief of if I spent it, then it could disappear. And so some of the things we worked on in coaching was identifying, a childhood pattern of some instability, right? And some areas where she witnessed why saving was so important, where she was also taught that as well. And then we also worked on setting a purpose for her savings. So, really building that peace of mind fund or emergency fund, if you like to call it that, really setting a purpose for her savings and connecting to what are we saving for? Okay. So it's great to save money. It's great to have, the peace of mind fund, but even that has a max amount. It has an end goal in mind. And sometimes we don't always think about that when we're like, oh, we're just going to keep mindlessly saving. There's strategy within saving where once you have hit your peace of mind fund, then we can start to direct the money other places and even continue that regular habit, even in investing. So having your money work a little bit harder for you. And so we also worked on with Yoshi, like aligning spending. And so we got into what she really wanted to experience in her life, the things that she wanted to do. And, one of the things we really talked about, which was fun, was putting together her trip to Disney, like actually planning that out and what she wanted to spend there. So that way she could feel good about the experience rather than, some anxiety or some guilt about, oh, did I spend too much? And so because of that, she started trusting herself both with saving and spending. And I'll let you listen to the previous episode where she talks about some of her other wins to hear some of the even more exciting things that happened as a result. And now for Taryn's story. No, it's not me. Okay. It is one of my clients. Her name also happens to be Taryn. She spells it with the E. Turn up. But anyways, she had some guilt around enjoying money. So definitely an achiever, disciplined saver, disciplined budgeter. But she was really terrified to do it wrong. She felt guilty buying some non-essentials or even investing in things that, maybe felt frivolous, like felt a little bit like, oh, should I really be doing that? But knowing that she would enjoy them. And so one of the things we did was we created, some room in her budget to have some fun. So that fun money or, one term that I'm really playing around with lately that I like is a joy fund. I don't know. Y'all let me know. I feel like that one's good. But anyways, she had some non-negotiable spending just on herself. So ways that she could have a good time with the money that she was making. And then she was able to set clear goals for what she was saving for. So she had some life things, so there was a potential wedding coming up, which she actually did recently get married. Shout out to her. But at the time, she wasn't engaged yet. So it was exciting. But yes, so saving for that potentially, also talking about saving for our house. So there were a couple of things there. And we practice like with spending, like some small amounts on herself. Okay. And this is something I like to do with clients who do tend to be in the hoarding of money category is let's figure out what amount that we can spend within, a few days and have zero guilt on it. And now, of course, that guilt might come up and then we tend to work through that in our coaching sessions. But that is something that you can be aware of, but you can set that and really, dig into what it feels like to spend money on you rather than everyone else. And, what she realized after working together is that spending can be safe and not reckless, and you can still save consistently. And so I love that both of my clients had those great results. And, next thing is like how to build healthy habits. So when you can save and spend in alignment. And so I'll just take you through some steps that you guys can do. So one, you want to give your money a purpose. And that means don't just save for safety, quote unquote, right? I want you to name it. So is it your trip to Italy? Is it for a new car? Is it a 6-month, peace of mind fund? I want you to actually give the money a purpose and name what it is you're saving for. Step 2, practice safe spending. Okay, so choose an amount that you can spend on yourself within the next 3 days. Could be $20, could be $200, could be $500, so on and so forth. But I want you to choose that amount and spend it guilt-free on something you truly value. We talked about some of these goals. Spend it on something that, helps to remind you of the goals that you're reaching. Step 3, create some buckets. And this is what I love to do with savings in general, is just to kind of split it up like that. So you have your peace of mind fund that kind of gives you that safety and security. You have your fun money or joy fund, which is, things that kind of give you life. All right. So things that are just purely for joy, for fun, for excitement, for things that make life better. And then the future you fund could be something, could be like a down payment savings if you're working towards home ownership. It could also be, something that we use to invest and build that part. It could be something like a trip, just another savings goal that you can have there. And you can name what that's specifically for. And step 4, have regular money dates to reinforce trust instead of avoidance. So I also talk about that in a previous episode. So I will link that one in the show notes too. Okay, so you have both of those those episodes to revisit. But yeah, just reinforce that trust instead of avoiding it. So when we can face what's going on, we start to be able to face the fear and feel empowered when it comes to our finances. So today we talked about what money hoarding really is, not responsibility, but fear. You heard Yoshi's and Teryn's stories of shifting from anxious saving to aligned spending and intentional wealth building. And now for your action step. So similar to what I talked about at the end here, I want you to name your savings. So what is the money for? Next, I want you to pick an amount to spend on yourself in the next 3 days. Something that is aligned with your values is going to feel good. And the third one is practice believing. And this could be an affirmation that you say. And if you want to know another good way to really get those affirmations working for you, I'll also link the episode that I did about money affirmations. But I want you to practice this one. It's I am safe to save and I am safe to spend. I am safe to save and I am safe to spend. Okay, so when you are feeling anxious about either one of those things, go ahead and repeat that to yourself to really help to empower your money relationship and your trust. So, if you want support in creating a money system where saving feels secure and spending feels safe, book a wealth alignment assessment with me. In 60 minutes, we'll map out your personal habits, fears, and financial goals and create a plan that aligns all of it. The link is going to be in the show notes for that as well. And in the next episode, we're diving into how to talk about money with your partner and friends. And you do not want to miss that because these money conversations are important. And so with that, I will catch y'all in the next episode. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the Financial Confidence for High Achieving Women podcast. I hope the insights shared in this episode have inspired you to take one small action step toward a more empowered relationship with money. If you're ready to take control of your finances like the rich bitch you are, I invite you to book a 90-minute Organize Your Money Honey intensive with me. You'll walk away with a crystal clear financial plan, a budget you'll actually stick to, and actionable steps to start saving and investing faster. Head to the link in the show notes to book your spot. I'm so grateful to be part of your financial journey, and I can't wait to see all the incredible moves you'll make. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you in the next episode.